Hello, everyone. Today, we take a heartfelt journey back to the legendary TV series The Avengers, which debuted in 1961. Let's delve into the extraordinary lives and careers of its iconic cast, then and now in 2024. Sadly, the entire cast has since passed away, but their legacy continues to enthrall fans around the globe. Stay with us as we pay tribute to their memory and celebrate their enduring influence on television history. Patrick Macnee as John Steed, Major the Hon John Wickham Gascoigne. Beresford Steed M.C.O.M., commonly referred to as John Steed, is a covert operative working for an undisclosed branch of British intelligence. Throughout his career, he was paired with various partners, including Dr. David Keel, Venus Smith, Dr. Martin King, Kathy Gale, Emma Peel, Tara King, Lady Diana Forbes Blakeney, Purdy, and Mike Gambit. Macnee cultivated his acting career initially in Canada, though he also appeared as an uncredited extra in British films such as Pygmalion, 1938, The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, 1943, and Laurence Olivier's Hamlet, 1948. He also participated in several live TV dramas for the BBC before moving on to credited roles in films like Scrooge, U.S. A Christmas Carol, 1951, as young Jacob Marley, the Gene Kelly film Les Girls, 1957, as an Old Bailey barrister, and the war movie The Battle of the River Plate, 1956. He portrayed Holmes in the TV movie The Hound of London, 1993, and in the Canadian TV film Sherlock Holmes, The Case of the Temporal Nexus, 1996, making him one of the few actors to have played both Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson on screen. Macnee married his first wife, Barbara Douglas, 1921-2012, in 1942. They had two children, Rupert and Jenny, and a grandson, Christopher, Kit. After their divorce in 1956, his second marriage was to actress Catherine Woodville from 1965 to 1969. From 1973 to 1991, Macnee resided in the Deepwell neighborhood of Palm Springs, California. His third marriage was to Baba Majos de Nagasenye, daughter of opera singer Ella Nemeth, and lasted from 1988 until her death in 2007. On June 25, 2015, Macnee passed away at his home in Rancho Mirage, California, at the age of 93. Linda Thorson as Tara King. Tara King was a secret agent, the sixth partner of Agent John Steed and his fourth female partner. She succeeded Emma Peel and was the first of Steed's partners to be an actual spy. Since then, she has taken on character roles in numerous TV series and films, including Thriller, Return of the Saint, Valentino, The Greek Tycoon, the cult horror film, Curtains, Blind Justice, Alan Alda's Sweet Liberty, and Marblehead Manor. From 1989 to 1992, she appeared in the daytime drama One Life to Live as Julia Wheaton Medina. She also made an appearance in Star Trek: The Next Generation as female Cardassian Starship Commander Gul Oset in the sixth season episode The Chase, 1993. Between 1998 and 2000, she played Isabel in the Canadian series Emily of New Moon. In 2002, she portrayed a Supreme Court justice in the film Half Past Dead alongside Steven Seagal and Jay Rule, and she was in the 2006 action sequel Max Havoc: Ring of Fire. Throughout 2006 and 2007, Thorson played the villainous Rosemary King in the ITV series Emmerdale. Thorson has also performed in various dramatic and musical stage productions, including appearances on Broadway in Nell Dunn's Steaming and Michael Frayn's Noises Off. In 2013, Thorson appeared on stage in Tracy Letts's play August Osage County, which centers on a dysfunctional family in Oklahoma. In 2014, she was scheduled to appear in John Robin Bates's play Other Desert Cities. Additionally, in 2013, Thorson produced a new stage play called The Goodbye Bird, written by Colleen Murphy. Honor Blackman as Catherine Gale. Dr. Catherine Cathy. Gale was among several rotating partners who collaborated with John Steed, the others being Dr. Martin King, a medical man, and nightclub singer Venus Smith. However, by the third series, she became Steed's sole partner. In 1968, Blackman starred alongside John Newell and Hilda Baker in the musical play Mr. and Mrs., based on the works of Noel Coward. In the late 1970s, she toured Australia and New Zealand with Michael Craig and Colleen Clifford in the comedy Move Over, Mrs. Markham. In February 1979, she took the lead in Stephen Barry's production of Tom Stoppard's Night and Day at the Perth Playhouse, which coincided with Stoppard's participation in the Festival of Perth. Blackman was married to Walter Bill Sankey from 1948 until their divorce in 1954. She then married British actor Maurice Kaufman, 1961-75, and they both appeared in the slasher film Fright, 1971, and several stage productions. They adopted 2 children, Lottie, 1967, and Barnaby, 1968. After her divorce from Kaufman, she chose not to remarry, expressing a preference for single life. She was an avid football fan and owned a summer house in Islesboro, Maine, USA. A British Republican, Blackman was a member of the Liberal Democrats and had previously been part of the Liberal Party, for which she campaigned during the 1964 general election. She declined a CBE in 2002, believing it would be hypocritical to accept the honor as a Republican. Ian Hendry as Dr. David Keel. Dr. David Keel was the central character in the first season of The Avengers. Motivated by the death of his fiancée in hot snow, he aimed to eliminate the injustices he encountered, often teaming up with the enigmatic John Steed. After leaving school in 1947 at the age of 16, Hendry attended the College of Estate Management in London. In 1948, he spent a year working for Bidwell's at their Cambridge office. In 1949, he began his national service, a conscription program introduced in the UK after World War II. He served 2 years with the 32nd Medium Regiment, Royal Artillery, during which he acted as a pacer for Christopher Chataway in athletics and led a motorcycle stunt team. Hendry starred alongside Nairi Dawn Porter in the TV series For Maddie with Love, 1980. In 1980, he appeared in the film McVicker, based on the life of bank robber John McVicker, played by Roger Daltrey of The Who. Towards the end of his career, he played a role in the crime series Jemima Shore Investigates as the literary agent of the titular heroine. His final TV role was in 1984 in the Channel 4 soap opera Brookside, portraying Davy Jones, father of Petra Taylor, Marie Jackson, and Michelle Jones. Hendry's last public appearance was as a guest on an October 1984 episode of This Is Your Life, which profiled his former Avengers co-star, Patrick Macnee. Macnee had previously been a special guest on This Is Your Life when Hendry was featured in March 1978. On December 24, 1984, Hendry passed away from a gastrointestinal hemorrhage in London at the age of 53. Patrick Newell as Mother. Mother is the head of the Ministry of Elite Intelligence. He was selected for the position over Father, which caused internal conflict within the ministry. Mother tasks John Steed and Dr. Emma Peel with uncovering the true culprit behind the sabotage of the Prospero program. Newell became a familiar face on TV, often cast as a portly villain or in comedic roles. With his rotund appearance and knack for portraying slightly pompous characters, he naturally fit the role of a stooge in several comedy shows. He first appeared with Arthur Askey in Arthur's Treasured Volumes, ATV 1960, and then with Jimmy Edwards in Faces of Jim, BBC 1962, with Ronnie Barker also supporting. Initially cast as one of the bumbling recruits in the first Carry On film, Carry On Sergeant, 1958, Newell reportedly recognized the real-life sergeant hired to train the cast as someone who had tormented him in the Army. According to producer Peter Rogers, Newell then left in his Rolls-Royce and never returned. Newell portrayed Inspector Lestrade in the 1980 TV series Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, produced in Poland. He also appeared as a Playboy bunny in one of Benny Hill's comedy specials. His film roles included the gluttony segment of The Magnificent Seven Deadly Sins, 1971. In 1984, he secured a more prominent role as Sutton Blessington in ITV's well-received The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes episode The Adventure of the Resident Patient, alongside Jeremy Brett. Later in life, Newell managed to lose a significant amount of weight, but this did not prevent his early death from a heart attack. He was married and had 2 children, Edwin Richfield as Alex. Richfield frequently appeared as a villain in the 1960s spy series The Avengers, playing regular guest roles. He starred in the television series Interpol Calling, 1959, and was the lead in Granada Television's early 1960s series The Odd Man. He was the only actor, aside from Patrick Macnee, to appear in all 6 seasons of the show. Richfield's other television credits include R3, 1999 Park Lane, Gideon's Way, Danger Man, Dixon of Dock Green, Z-Cars, Adamant Lives, The Baron, Champion House, Out of the Unknown, The Owl Service, UFO, and Bergerac. His filmography includes X the Unknown, Quatermass 2, The Camp on Blood Island, The Face of Fu Manchu, and Quatermass and the Pit. He also appeared in Scotland Yard and The Dark Stairway, playing Joe Lloyd. While performing in repertory theater, Richfield met actress Valerie Jean Wilkinson, 1931-2005, known by her stage name Jan Holden. They married in 1952 while appearing in a stage version of The Blue Lamp. The couple had 3 children, twin daughters, one of whom died from a brain tumor, and a son, Simon. Their marriage ended in 1973. Julie Stevens as Venus Smith. Nightclub singer Venus Smith, Julie Stevens, appeared in 6 episodes. Unlike the 2 doctors, she was a complete amateur, lacking any professional crime-fighting skills. She was thrilled to be involved in a spy adventure with secret agent Steed. Stevens, born in Prestwich, attended Stand Grammar School. She trained as a nurse at Manchester Royal Infirmary after beginning her television career as a comedienne on the TV show Bid for Fame. She was a regular on Play School and Play Away and provided vocals for the school's television series Look and Read. In 1964, Stevens appeared in the British comedy film Carry On Cleo, playing the slave girl Gloria. She also co-starred with Denise Coffey in the ITV comedy series Girls About Town, 1969-71, and appeared in the children's historical comedy series Cabbages and Kings, 1972, alongside Johnny Ball and Derek Griffiths. In 1971, she released a single titled Tallyman on the MCA label. She also released another single that year, After Haggerty, backed with A Long Way From Home on Barry Class's Trend label, Cat number 609908. She married actor John White in January 1962. They had 2 children but separated in 1975. Stevens later married actor and director Michael Hucks from 1981 until 2001. White, also a presenter on Play School during the late 1960s, died of bone cancer in 1993. Terry Richards as Cybernaut. A cybernaut was a robotic creation conceived and constructed by Dr. Armstrong in the episode The Cybernauts of the 4th series. Because of their popularity in their debut appearance, they returned in the 5th series episode Return of the Cybernauts and the 1st series episode of the New Avengers titled The Last of the Cybernauts. Hailing from South London and born to Welsh parents, he served in the Welsh Guards. Upon completing his national service in 1957, while employed as a scaffolder, a comrade from the Guards informed him of a need for extras with military experience. Upon securing the role, he was tasked with simulating falling from scaffolding during a riot scene, which he agreed to. In 1958, he acted as a fighting extra alongside Kirk Douglas in The Vikings, and in 1960, he co-established the Stunt Register, a roster of accredited stunt performers within the UK industry. One of Richards's most renowned scenes was portraying the scripted Large Arabian Swordsman in the 1981 Indiana Jones film Raiders of the Lost Ark. Director Steven Spielberg filmed the movie's fight sequences set in Cairo, Egypt, in the town of Kairouan, Tunisia. Richards diligently practiced for weeks with his hefty Arabian sword to execute the scripted fight scene, meticulously choreographing a clash between the swordsman and Jones's whip. Richards retired following his final performance in the 1997 James Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies, in which his character engaged in a scuffle with Pierce Brosnan's character in a recording studio in Germany. In his later years, Richards resided in Ruislip. His funeral ceremony and interment occurred on June 24, 2014, at Breakspear Crematorium following his passing from a sudden cardiac arrest while asleep. Philip Madoc as Ivan. Philip Madoc portrayed the character Ivan in the series. Madoc performed on stage with the Welsh Theatre Company, assuming the role of Thomas Cromwell during a 1962 tour of A Man for All Seasons before joining the Royal Shakespeare Company, where he played Iago, Othello, and Dr. Faust. In his television career, he gained widespread recognition for his roles in two serials. First as the determined SS officer Lutzig in the Second World War serial Manhunt, 1969, and later as the brutal Huron warrior Magua in an adaptation of The Last of the Mohicans, 1971. Madoc's voice can be heard narrating Bible passages on a variation of the Voco alarm clock. He also starred as Ellis Peters's medieval detective brother Cadfael in the BBC Radio 4 adaptations of Monk's Hood, The Virgin in the Ice, and Dead Man's Ransom. Additionally, he recorded a 12-CD audiobook featuring selections from Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Madoc was a passionate supporter of Welsh nationalism and a dedicated member of Plaid Cymru. He was an enthusiast of boxing, particularly of boxer David Pearce, and was among the 2,500 individuals who attended his funeral. In January 2012, it was announced that Madoc had been diagnosed with cancer. He passed away at the age of 77 on March 5, 2012, at the Michael Sobel Hospice in Northwood, situated in the northwest of London. Diana Rigg as Emma Peel. Emma Peel was the daughter of an industrialist, Sir John Knight, and was a super spy who partnered with John Steed from 1965 to 1967, until her husband, Peter Peel, unexpectedly returned. Rigg's career spanned film, television, and theater, encompassing roles with the Royal Shakespeare Company from 1959 to 1967, such as Gwendolen in John Anui's Becket, Cordelia in King Lear, and Adriana in The Comedy of Errors. She also appeared in the Rada production of The Caucasian Chalk Circle at the York Festival in 1957. She performed in the Cherry Orchard at the Chichester Festival Theatre in 2008 and returned in 2009 to star in Noel Coward's Hay Fever. In 2011, she portrayed Mrs. Higgins in Pygmalion at the Garrick Theatre, opposite Rupert Everett and Cara Toynton, reprising her role as Eliza Doolittle 37 years after her initial performance at the Albury Theatre. In February 2018, she made a comeback to Broadway as Mrs. Higgins in My Fair Lady, a non-singing role, expressing her delight by saying, "I think it's so special. When I was offered Mrs. Higgins, I thought it was just such a lovely idea." She received her 4th Tony nomination for this portrayal. During the 1960s, Rigg resided with director Philip Saville for 8 years, attracting attention in the tabloid media when she expressed disinterest in marrying the older and already married Saville, stating that she had no desire to conform. Rigg passed away at her daughter's residence in London on September 10, 2020, at the age of 82. Her daughter Rachel Sterling revealed that Rigg succumbed to cancer, with which she had been diagnosed in March of that year. An overview of the remarkable odyssey of the Avengers cast from 1961 up to the present day in 2024. We appreciate you joining us on this trip down memory lane. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, spread the word, and hit that subscribe button for future updates.